In 2021, Kanye West was worth $6.6 billion, not 600 million, not 1 billion, 6.6. That number reportedly made him the wealthiest musician on the planet. Wealthier than Jay-Z, wealthier than Paul McCartney, wealthier than any artist who had ever picked up a microphone or sat down at a piano. For about 14 months, Kanye West was the richest musician alive. Then one company made one phone call, and $1.5 billion disappeared. Adidas terminated the Yeezy partnership in October 2022. The deal had been worth roughly $1.5 billion a year in revenue. When it ended, so did the number. Kanye didn't lose a tour. He didn't lose a record deal. He lost a sneaker contract, and with it, the majority of his net worth. Because despite what most people think, almost nobody becomes a billionaire from making music. These 6 stories show why. This is how they did it, and this is what it tells us about where real power actually lives in the music industry. We tend to think about music as a meritocracy. The best songs win, the hardest working artists rise, the biggest tours generate the biggest income. And to some degree, that's true. But here's what the numbers actually show. In 2025, recorded music generated $31.7 billion, the biggest year in the industry's history, and almost none of it reaches the people who make the music. Follow a single dollar, a fan pays it, the platform keeps 30 cents, 55 go to the label, 15 to publishing. The artist, the voice you actually came to hear, 6 cents. Bad guy, 3 billion streams. We don't know Billy's contract. But on a standard major label deal, that's less than $1 million. Of every dollar the label collects, the artist's royalty is about 20 cents before recoupment. And remember, that dollar is already just over half of what the fan paid, so do the math. $1 billion in royalties would take roughly $16 billion in streaming, about half of everything the industry earns in a year. Touring pays better, but only while you're on the road. Owning the song, that pays forever. No one becomes a billionaire on 6 cents on the dollar. Paul McCartney, Andrew Lloyd Webber, Jay-Z, Dr. Dre, Rihanna, Taylor Swift, 6 billionaires, 6 completely different paths, and 6 lessons about what it actually takes to build wealth that can't be taken away with a single phone call. Let's start at the beginning. Paul McCartney, estimated net worth $1.3 billion. McCartney wrote some of the most commercially valuable songs ever recorded. Yesterday, Hey Jude, Blackbird, Come Together. The Beatles' catalog is considered one of the most valuable music assets in history. Paul McCartney does not own it. Look at the bottom of the sheet music. Northern Songs Limited. Not Lennon, not McCartney. Northern Songs was the company built entirely on the Beatles' catalog, and Paul McCartney owned about 15% of it. So in 1969, when the controlling stake was sold to ATV, nobody had to ask him. He found out, he fought the takeover, and he lost. The catalog passed through multiple hands, and here's the part nobody tells you. McCartney had a chance to buy it all back, around 1981, for roughly £20 million. He hesitated over the price. 4 years later, Michael Jackson paid $47.5 million after McCartney himself had shown Michael that music publishing was the smartest investment in the business. In one of music's great ironies, the advice McCartney gave Jackson helped shape the deal that put the Beatles' catalog out of his reach. Paul McCartney wrote those songs. He does not own them. He earns performance royalties when they're played live, a small percentage of what the songs generate. The publishing master rights, the part that earns every time a song is streamed, licensed to a film, used in an ad, or covered by another artist, belong to someone else. He was left with the writer's share, a slice of his own life's work. So how does a man who lost the most valuable song catalog in history still become a billionaire? He didn't sue, he didn't sulk, he went shopping, and he toured for 60 years without stopping. And quietly, with very little publicity, he rebuilt his publishing catalog through a company called MPL Communications. The lesson from McCartney isn't about the Beatles, it's about what he did after he lost them. He understood, earlier than almost anyone in music, that ownership compounds. The songwriter who owns the publishing rights to a song that will be covered, sampled, licensed, and performed for 100 years has something no tour or streaming royalty can replicate. He lost the greatest catalog in history, so he went and built another one. Andrew Lloyd Webber, estimated net worth $1.2 billion. Andrew Lloyd Webber is the least talked about billionaire musician. He doesn't give many interviews about his finances. He has no social media presence. He is not, by any conventional measure, a pop culture figure in 2026. And yet, he has been generating passive income from intellectual property for over 50 years, without interruption. Lloyd Webber owns, or co-owns, the rights to some of the most performed theatrical works in history. Cats ran for 21 years in London and 18 on Broadway. Phantom ran for 35 years on Broadway, the longest-running show in Broadway history, before closing in 2023. Evita has never stopped being performed somewhere in the world since its premiere in 1978. Here's what that means financially. Every night that Phantom runs in any theater anywhere in the world, a percentage of the box office goes back to the rights holder. Every school production of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat, every high school, every community theater, every professional revival generates a licensing fee that flows back up the chain. Andrew Lloyd Webber has not performed on stage in decades. He does not need to. His catalog performs for him every night in dozens of cities simultaneously. This is what a passive IP empire looks like. McCartney's MPL is similar in structure, but Lloyd Webber is the purest example. Create once, own forever, collect royalties for decades. The music industry talks endlessly about catalog acquisitions. Bruce Springsteen sold his catalog to Sony in a deal reportedly worth more than $500 million. Bob Dylan sold his songwriting catalog to Universal in a deal estimated between $300 and $400 million. Lloyd Webber never sold, he retained. And because he retained, the royalties kept flowing year after year for more than half a century. The lesson from Andrew Lloyd Webber: the most powerful financial position isn't the biggest advance, the biggest deal, or the biggest streaming numbers. It's owning something that earns money while you sleep, and then not selling it. Sean Corey Carter, Jay-Z. Estimated net worth, $2.8 billion. The question people always ask about Jay-Z's money is which part of his empire actually made him a billionaire. The honest answer is, none of it deliberately. He built the range so no single part could take him down. Jay-Z went into the spirits business. Douce Cognac launched in 2012 as a partnership with Bacardi. In 2014, he acquired full ownership of Armand de Brignac, Ace of Spades, the champagne which had appeared in his music videos for years, effectively free marketing before he owned the product. He'd been advertising it for free, then he bought it. In 2021, LVMH, Louis Vuitton Moet Hennessy, the luxury conglomerate that owns Louis Vuitton, Dior, Moet Hennessy, wanted in. LVMH took a 50% stake in Armand de Brignac. Think about what that means. The most powerful luxury goods company in the world decided the champagne brand built on hip-hop culture was worth being in business with. That is not a celebrity endorsement deal. That is a strategic acquisition by people who do not make impulsive financial decisions. Then there's Roc Nation. Founded in 2008 as a record label, it has expanded into sports management, touring, music publishing, and entertainment. In 2019, Roc Nation signed a landmark deal with the NFL as an official live music entertainment partner, putting Jay-Z's company at the center of one of the most watched sports properties in the world. And then the investments. Early-stage Uber, Tidal, sold to Square for $297 million. Real estate, media companies, each individual bet modest, collectively unassailable. When Kanye lost the Adidas deal, $1.5 billion of his net worth was in one basket. When Jay-Z's Tidal deal underperformed, it barely moved his overall number. Diversification is not just a financial strategy. For Jay-Z, it is the architecture of power. Dr. Dre estimated net worth, approximately $1 billion. Dr. Dre became a billionaire, not because of rap, not because of producing, not because of Aftermath Records or Eminem or 50 Cent or Kendrick Lamar, though all of those things made him powerful. Dr. Dre became a billionaire because of headphones. In 2006, Dre and Interscope co-founder Jimmy Iovine launched Beats Electronics. The premise was simple. Most consumer headphones were cheap, plasticky, and sounded terrible. The headphones weren't the most technically advanced. Audiophiles debated their sound quality, but they were the coolest. In 2014, Apple acquired Beats for $3 billion, its largest acquisition to that point. Dre's share was reported at around $500 million, and he reportedly cried when the deal closed. But a few weeks before the deal was finalized, R&B singer and actor Tyrese Gibson posted a celebratory, drunken Facebook video filmed in a recording studio. In the video, a hyped-up Dr. Dre looked directly at the camera and boasted that he was the first billionaire in hip-hop, effectively leaking Apple's unannounced corporate deal. This video violated Apple's strict corporate non-disclosure expectations. According to investigative reporting in Trip Mickel's book, After Steve, Apple CEO Tim Cook was highly disappointed by the social media outburst. Cook used the leverage from this premature leak to shave $200 million off the original $3.2 billion asking price, bringing the final deal down to $3 billion and ensuring Dre actually fell just short of the billionaire title at the time. The lesson from Dre, except for the leak causing him to lose $200 million, is what strategists call the product pivot, using credibility built in one category to launch a product in an entirely different one. Dre's credibility was in music. His wealth came from hardware, but the hardware only worked because of the music. You can't separate them. This is the fundamental pattern beneath all 6 billionaires. The music is never just the product. The music is proof that you understand something most people don't. That proof, that credibility, is the most valuable asset any artist actually owns. Rihanna, estimated net worth approximately $1.4 billion. Rihanna released her last album, Anti, in 2016. It is now 2026, 10 years without new music from one of the most commercially successful recording artists of her generation. In those 10 years, she became richer than any musician in history, except for Jay-Z and Taylor Swift. Fenty Beauty launched in September 2017 in partnership with LVMH. And the deal contained something almost no celebrity beauty contract had. Rihanna kept creative control, a 50% equity stake, and the full distribution infrastructure of the world's most powerful luxury goods company. The Fenty Foundation range wasn't just a product decision, it was a cultural statement. The beauty industry had chronically underserved dark skin tones, and Rihanna launched a 40-shade range that made that exclusion impossible to ignore. The internet did the rest. Within 40 days, Fenty Beauty had reportedly generated $100 million in sales. Its first full year, over $500 million. Competitor brands announced shade extensions within weeks of the launch, terrified of being publicly left behind. The industry now calls it the Fenty effect. Rihanna owns 50% of Fenty Beauty, and LVMH's valuation, a conservative one, puts it at over $1 billion. Half of that is hers, because she showed up with leverage and because she negotiated equity from the beginning. Then Savage X Fenty launched in 2018 and hit a $1 billion valuation by 2021. Again, equity. Again, cultural credibility converted into ownership. The 2023 Super Bowl halftime show. Reports estimated the appearance generated $100 million in earned media value for Fenty Beauty. The attention she drove to her brand, she didn't even need to sell a single ticket. Taylor Swift, estimated net worth $2 billion. The Eras Tour grossed over $2 billion in ticket sales alone, the highest grossing concert tour in history, by a significant margin. The previous record, Elton John's Farewell Yellow Brick Road, took $939 million. She didn't just break the record, she more than doubled it. Taylor Swift is the only billionaire on this list whose wealth is primarily built on music. But the way she built it reveals something crucial about what music actually is. In 2019, Taylor Swift's original record label, Big Machine Records, was sold to Scooter Braun's Ithaca Holdings for approximately $300 million. The sale included her masters, the original recordings of Swift's first 6 albums, every song she made between the ages of 16 and 27. Swift said she learned about the sale when it was announced publicly. She had wanted to buy her masters for years. The moment her re-recording restrictions expired, she announced she would re-record every album. The Taylor's Version project became the most successful reclamation in modern music history. Swift asked her fans directly, publicly, explicitly to stream the Taylor's versions and stop streaming the originals. Her fans complied so thoroughly that the original masters became significantly devalued. Radio stations, brands, and TV shows switched to the Taylor's versions to avoid backlash. Then, in 2020, the masters were sold again, this time to Shamrock Capital. Taylor declined a partnership and continued with the re-recording strategy. 5 years later, she completed the story by acquiring the masters herself. Taylor Swift's billionaire status is built on simultaneous revenue streams she controls. A renegotiated deal. She owns her new masters outright. A tour she controls, merchandise generating hundreds of millions. A concert film distributed independently through AMC. There is no LVMH here, no Apple acquisition, no champagne company. With Swift, it's built as a fully owned ecosystem. Every element. She is the label, the publisher, the touring company, the merchandise company, and the distribution company simultaneously. The music industry has been watching it happen in real time, and it still doesn't know how to respond. 6 billionaires. None of them built $1 billion from royalties alone. McCartney rebuilt a catalog, Lloyd Webber kept the rights, Jay-Z built businesses, Dre built a product, Rihanna negotiated equity, Taylor built an ecosystem she controls herself. But all of them eventually made the same shift. They stopped selling attention and started owning assets. Kanye West did the opposite. He built his net worth in a single external partnership. The music wasn't converting into owned infrastructure. It was converting into a fashion brand that required a corporate partner to function. He didn't move upstream, he moved sideways. And when the deal collapsed, there was nothing underneath it. Not because he became less talented, not because people stopped listening, because the asset wasn't his. That's how you lose $1.5 billion overnight. There's a question that every artist in 2026 is implicitly being asked. Not how do I get signed? Not how do I go viral? Not even how do I build a career? The question is, what do I own? The infrastructure of the music industry has changed so completely in the last 15 years that the old answers don't apply. Streaming has commoditized distribution. Social media has democratized discovery. AI is beginning to challenge even the production process itself. But ownership hasn't changed. Ownership still compounds. The copyright to a great song is still worth what it was worth in 1985, when Michael Jackson paid $47.5 million for the Beatles catalog. Actually worth much more now, because the platforms that distribute that catalog have only multiplied. The 6 people in this video didn't just make music. They made music, and then they made decisions about what to keep and what to sell, about when to partner and on what terms, about how to build something that would outlast any single deal, any single platform, any single moment of cultural attention. The names will change. The next generation of billionaire musicians is probably already making decisions right now, in meetings, in negotiations, in the quiet moment when someone offers them a check, and they have to decide whether the check is the right answer. Some of them will take the check. The ones who don't, who hold, who own, who build upstream, are the ones we'll be talking about in 30 years.